the way that we look at substance use disorder and addiction in this country, especially, we look at it as this incurable forever thing that somebody is going to have, which after doing a lot of my own research, I don't see it that way. I see it as a curable thing. Like majority of people do overcome it, even though we hear the complete opposite, right? We always hear that nobody makes it out. It's so rare, but data doesn't lie. And I know there's different studies, all this shit. I'm always thinking of like what other people are going to say because every time I say something, people always counter it. But there's plenty of multiple studies that show most people overcome it, right? So why are we telling people when they go into treatment, look to your right, look to your left, only one of you is going to make it? Why are people walking around with a 2% tattoo because they think only 2% of IV drug users make it out? Like there's so much fake information out there about what substance use disorder and addiction is. It's mind-blowing.
That's actually something that I agree with you on there. When they say that addiction is a progressive disease, they say that, I don't know if they say that in the country or if they just say it in the program, but they say addiction is a progressive lifelong disease. I do know, my intuition was like, I don't think this is a disease, but then I did look it up. I think I ChatGPT'd it. I'm like, in the United States, does the medical industry consider addiction a disease? And they do, apparently. Apparently they consider it, but my intuition or my thought process was like, how is it a disease? Like, how do you define, why is it defined as a disease? Is it because they think it's, like, what is a disease? Like, do you know what that is?
You know, it's so weird. I just know like the history of it was like it was actually this lady, Marty Mann, who was like big in AA, and she went around and she was like talking about AA, but she was really influential in getting people to see it as a disease. Now you can look at it in two different ways, right? You know, looking at it, once they started to see it as a disease medically, well, now insurance and people are like, it's going to get covered that way, right? Like now it's opening up doors for treatment versus when you look at it as a moral thing, like he's just an asshole. That's why he won't stop drinking. When you start so you can look at it that way. But I feel like all these years later, it actually has really hindered us, right? And it's really held people back because it just, instead of being like these crazy immoral people that can't get well, now we're these diseased people that can't get well. Like it didn't really, it changed the stigma a tiny bit. And then the more that I learn about treatment and just like how just messed up basically everything that we're taught is basically a lie. Is the fact that people have had more access to treatment since then, is that a good thing? I don't know. Would it have been better if people could just learn the truth and learn how to, I think a lot of what I became was because I was told that's what I was and who I was. Would I have kept going and doing all those things if I didn't believe that's what was going to happen anyways? Who knows? I don't know. I can't answer that. But I do think the whole disease thing, because every time that I talk about it, there'll be people who have brought it to my attention that, well, it is a good thing because it helped get people more treatment. But then a couple years later, it's like I'm always deprogramming like deeper and deeper. And now it's like, I don't think that getting more access to treatment, when you look at the treatment that we have available, when you look at majority of treatment is based in the disease model 12-step way, I don't think it's a good thing, especially like these young people that we're programming to believe, at 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, that they have this lifelong progressive disease. No, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't.
Hey guys, it's me, your host, Andrea Pranzatelli. If you enjoyed this clip today, please don't forget to hit subscribe. It is my dream to become a full-time podcaster, and your support helps more than you could possibly know. So again, hit that subscribe button to help me keep the momentum going on this channel. Also, for every single clip, there is a link in the description to the full episode if you would like to hear the full episode. And I also have a link to my Instagram below if you'd like to follow me on Instagram as well. So that's it. Have a good day, guys. Bye.